So I'm going to get started. So the point of this talk is, even though I'm a DJ, I could easily just sit in front of turntables and play records for you. But I thought I would treat this more like an academic playlist discussion. So feel free to ask me questions. I have about 12 songs I'm going to try to get through. Some of them are way too long, and this really works out to be about 2.5 hours worth of music. So I'm not going to play the entire song all the way through, just enough for you to really get the picture of what each song represents and what the artist is trying to convey. Again, this presentation is about the continuum of resistance and liberation ideology in Black music. And this is by no means definitive. This could be literally hours of music. I mean, days of music. I mean, it's very broad because it's such a common theme in diasporic music that I'm surprised, that there hasn't been a whole ethnomusicology field of study about just this. So maybe I'll do it. And so I went through kind of my library, and the way I'm structuring this is I'm starting in the jazz age. I chose not to go back past the jazz age, and I'm decidedly avoiding a couple of different genres, mostly gospel, because it deals with a lot of spiritual work that people were doing. And there's a spirit of resistance, but there's also, the questions that arise around the religious practices of people who were enslaved, and would they in fact be practicing Christianity if they had not been subjugated? So rather than make it complex, I simplified. So if you're a fan of gospel, I know gospel is out there. I know Negro spirituals especially. I dealt a lot with liberation ideology, but I am starting in the jazz age and coming forward into the present. And so hopefully you can bear with me. Can you see, Camille, can you see the slide presentation that's up on the screen?
I do.
Okay, cool. So embedded in this presentation are music videos. So as I go through, I'm going to play the songs. This cover piece right here is by Pedro Bell. You may know him as the artist who did all of Parliament Funkadelic's major releases that had cover art. He passed away last year, really recently, like in fall of 2019, and he was very famous for his work with Parliament Funkadelic. But I really love his work because it really embodies, both Afrofuturism and a psychedelic aesthetic. So I chose that as the cover. But without any further ado, I'm going to get into it. Let's see. All right. Oops, I'm gonna start it again. By the way, I've added basically liner notes for each piece. Tells you the name of the artist, the album, what year came out, and a quote or a piece of, or quote or fact from the song itself. And then I'll talk about what each song signifies after I stop the video. So bear with me. I'm gonna hit play. All right.
love for sale. Driver man, he made a life, but the mammy ain't his wife. Chopping cotton, don't be slow. Better finish out your rope. Keep a moving with that plow. Driver man will show you how. Get to work and root that stump. Driver man will make you jump. Better make your hammer ring. Driver man will start to swing. Ain't but two things on my mind. Driver man and quitting time. Driver man, they kind of boss. Ride a man and lead a horse. When his cat o' nine tail fly, you'd be happy just to die. Run away and you'll be found by his big old red bone hound. Caddy roll up, bring you back, make you sorry you is black. Driver man, he made a life, but the mammy ain't his wife. Ain't but two things on my mind. Driver man and quitting time.
This piece is from Sun Ra and his orchestra. It also accompanied a film that was created by the same name called Space is the Place. Came out in 1984. And the premise of the film was that to escape the oppression of being black on planet Earth, Sun Ra, who was in Oakland at the time, decided he was going to go to outer space, to another planet, and he had to outwit the overseer, who was played by a pimp, who was embodied in a pimp, for the liberation and the fate of Black Americans. So he had to repeatedly outwit the overseer, so that Black Americans could escape being oppressed here on planet Earth. And there's a whole plot centered around that struggle. So music and the album that accompanied this movie was also Sun Ra's signature free jazz. And rather than play a song directly from that album, because most of the songs were very long, I'm going to play the opener or promotional video for the movie itself, which has some of the music in it.
The music is different here. The vibrations are different. Not like Planet Rave. Planet Rave sound of guns, anger, frustration. There was no one to talk to on Planet Rave to understand. We set up a colony for Black people here. See what they can do on the planet all their own without any white people there. They could drink in the beauty of this planet. It would affect their vibrations for the better, of course. Another place in the universe, up under different stars. That would be where the altered destiny would come in. Equation-wise, the first thing to do is to consider time as officially ended. We're way on the other side of time. We bring it through either isotope teleportation, transmolecularization, or better still, teleport the whole planet here through music.
Okay, so as you can see with the presentation here, the slide here, Sun Ra, I called him Pharaoh Sanders. Sun Ra was very much a fan of Egyptology, and in a lot of his visual presentations, he used Egyptian costume and dress as a nod to what he imagined a future without oppression. So Sun Ra was really, and this was not a single instance in his career. He was consistent with this for the entire time that he worked. And if you really want to know more, you can always look up Sun Ra, Space is the Place. There was a recent homage album released to this album that came out in 2003. It featured a lot of current electronic music artists like Theo Parrish, and it's definitely worth checking out. So that being said, we're going to keep on moving to the next slide. So this is a a song called "Higher Ground" by Doug Karn, off the Adam's Apple album of 1975. And you'll notice there are there are a few recurring themes in all of this music that I'm referencing. One is the historic oppression of people of African descent in this hemisphere. The other is the current oppression at a particular time that people were trying to overcome. And the third is an imagining of a time or space without that condition of being oppressed, either by transcending the planet Earth itself, or just removing oneself spiritually or consciously from white supremacy. So Doug Karn, again, this was another theme. Like Sun Ra, this was thematic for him. This was a theme throughout his work, and he talked about and sang about these themes. And a lot of his work came out on Black Jazz Records, which is a very well-respected label. It has a huge cult following now. A lot of these original recordings are very valuable and hard to find. So if you find them on vinyl, they typically cost a lot of money. They're in good condition, but they were re-released under a new label recently, and a lot of people have taken interest in reviving the catalog, so they should be easier to find now. But this is one of my favorite songs by Doug Karn. It's called Higher Ground. If you've been to a couple of my DJ sets, you might hear me play it as like a closer. And it's really just an aspirational piece, and one of the lyrics is, "We have to find a better way." So let's take a listen.
Lord, plant our feet on higher ground. Higher ground. We got to find us a better way of living on higher ground. The time is right to the creator. We must live about higher ground. Let us reflect all the resources now. Lord, plant our feet on higher ground. Our souls were lost, but now they're found. Moving on to higher ground. Let us resolve to build a righteous nation. And we depart in the scheme of hope. Under the dome, safe and sound on higher ground. And as one we stand together. Oh, Lord, higher ground. We have to find us a better way. Higher ground.
So moving on, we are going to talk about the next cut, which is Donny Hathaway. And this is an easy one for people who know Donny Hathaway's work. It's a very famous song. A lot of people use it in films and movies. And, even though it's relatively well known, I thought it was very appropriate for this discussion. It's the song "Someday We'll All Be Free." A lot of people have covered it. And, there's even a version of this where Layla Hathaway sings with her father on this, through the magic of modern studio recording techniques. But at the end of the day, you can never beat the original because Donny is Donny. And this was off of the Extension of a Man album. And I'm just going to play this one. Hopefully you enjoy it.
Hang on to the world as it spins around. Just don't let the spin get you down. Things are moving fast. Hold on tight and you will last. Keep your self-respect, your manly pride. Get yourself in gear, keep your stride. Never mind your fears. Brighter days will soon be here. Take it from me, someday we'll all be free. Yeah. Keep on walking tall. Hold your head up high. Lay your dreams right up to the sky. Sing your praise song. And you keep growing, growing on. Take it from me, someday we'll all be free. Hey, just wait and see, someday we'll all be free. Yeah. Take it from me, we're gonna be free. Take it from me, someday we're gonna be free. Take it from me, take it.
Okay, that was Donny Hathaway. Someday We'll All Be Free. Moving on to the next song. Pardon me, 1 second. So moving on to the next song, we're going to get into something that's a little bit unusual. So everyone knows Parliament Funkadelic. Obviously, the cover of this presentation was by Pedro Bell, who was one of their was the guy who did a lot of their cover art. But they also explored a lot of Afrofuturist and fantasy concepts that really centered around resisting white supremacy and also finding places in this existence that were free from oppression. So one of the things I want to bring to everyone's attention is that, you know, they were mostly known as a funk band for people who, you know their hits like Knee Deep and Atomic Dog and things of that nature. but they had a huge repertoire of musical talents in that band. And their membership, over the years comprised of people like Junie Morris from the Ohio Players, obviously Bernie Worrell, um, and George Clinton and Bootsy Collins being those notable members. But they also could play things like rock and roll. If you listen to early uh, Funkadelic albums like Maggot Brain and Osmium, but they also branched off into a little bit of folk soul, which if you're thinking of like the Fifth Dimension or the Rotary Connection, things like that, Parliament also could do that. So this cut is called "I Just Got Back," and one of the key lyrics is "I just got back from another world, is located across the mountain and through the seas, past the moon, beyond all the things we've dreamed of." Um, and they were talking directly to obviously black audiences when they were making these songs. So I'll let you hear it and see how it ties into everything.
Yeah, I just got back from another world. It was way, way past another side. It was across the mountain and through the seas, past the moon, beyond all things that we've dreamed about. You never in your life seen such color that glows like a twinkle in an eye, like little things with velvet rings and budding trees that summer bring back to life again. Whoa, I didn't want to leave, 'cause I was having such a good time. But as we go through life, the good times they seem to end. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Okay, that was Parliament Funkadelic, or Parliament, sorry, without Funkadelic, up off the Up for the Downstroke album. The song was called "I Just Got Back." Coming up next, we've got a little bit of a U-turn or a hard right turn into the Caribbean. So we're going to take a listen to Freddie McGregor, and the name of the cut is called "I Am a Revolutionist" off of the Bobby Babylon album. Freddie was, well, musician guy, and because of Rastafarianism, which most roots musicians were, it's Afrocentric in its nature. They often rail against Babylon, which in their minds, represented Western civilization, and the purpose of their music, as well as their entire ideology, was Black liberation. So even though they were removed from the continent in much the same way as African Americans here in North America, people in the Caribbean also cultivated these ideologies. So I think it's a good idea for us to take a look at how that manifested itself. Okay.
I'm away from them. I cannot deal with criticism. I'm a Rastaman. I'm a revolutionist. We don't care what they say. I cannot deal with criticism. I'm a Rastaman. Now these are the times when chains are pulled from Israel's feet. Them kids say we now go live in peace. You better open up your eyes and fight for your rights, or you will die. Cause I'm gonna leave my tribe of Israelites and fight for their right. That's right and say I'm a revolutionist away from them. I cannot deal with criticism. I'm a Rastaman. I'm a revolutionist. Me no care what they say. I cannot deal with criticism. I'm a repatriate.
Okay, that was Freddie McGregor. I am a revolutionist. And since we're in the Caribbean, it's appropriate that, we take a look or take a listen to music from the first free Black republic since the beginning of the slave trade. That, of course, was Haiti. Haiti has a long and storied history and has endured its share of turmoil, notably with several coups d'etats since their independence. And most recently, Jean-Claude Bertin, Jean-Paul Aristide was overthrown by a U.S.-backed coup in the early 90s and replaced by a military junta. And one of the things to come out of this this political climate was resistance music. So the artist by the name of Ram was writing resistance songs, and they were not even alluding to events directly, but it was enough of an allusion to cause their music to be banned by the military junta that had taken over Haiti in 1992. And this music was only released after the military government had been deposed and democracy restored to Haiti. But they were writing songs. The song in this case was called Faye by the group Ram on the album Adobo that came out in 1996, even though it was written in 92. And they were songs in protest of what had happened in Haiti with the military coup. So let's just take a listen. And if you speak Creole, it's great. I don't speak Creole, so I had to look up the lyrics and see what the translation was. But the last song in one of the verses is I only have one son and they made him leave the country. And that's obviously a reference to Aristide, who was forced to go into exile in Africa after the coup. So let's have a listen. Okay, that was the group Ram with the song Faye, and that's from Haiti. So we're kind of taking a route from jazz through the Caribbean, and next up, we're going to start coming back into, and also we're traveling through time. So we started in the '60s, and we're up into the '90s now. And so I know a lot of people think, well, what role did hip hop play in or does hip hop play? Because we're not only speaking in the past tense. What role does hip hop play in liberation for people of African descent? And the answer is quite a bit. A lot of the music is very confrontational, and there was definitely a period in hip hop where music seemed to be a significant part of hip hop, or portion of hip hop was focused on the condition of African Americans or Black people and liberation. And notably the Native Tongues movement, which started with the artist I'm about to play next, which is the Jungle Brothers. They were of course an outgrowth of the Zulu Nation, and you basically can draw a straight line from the Zulu Nation through Native Tongues, meaning the Jungle Brothers, followed by a Tribe Called Quest, all the way through the Soul Quarians, ending like D'Angelo and Erykah Badu. There's a direct line that you can trace back through and Jay Dilla and the and Detroit hip hop. So, but I think for purposes of this discussion, it's good to go back to one of the sources, and that's the Jungle Brothers, who are not always cited for their huge impact in this type of hip hop. And actually, the first appearance of Q-Tip was on the Black is Black Black is Black song on their first album, Straight Out the Jungle. This song, called Beyond This World, is off of their second album called Done by the Forces of Nature. It came out in 1989, and you can hear in the lyrics similar themes to what you would hear from Sun Ra, as in there's a extraterrestrial or the people who claim to have insight from beyond Earth, and it's that insight that allows them to bring a message of liberation to people here, to Black people here. So I'm just going to play the song and see if you can pick up some of these themes.
upside down, living my life underneath the ground. Never heard of and hardly seen a whole lot of talk about the red, black, and green. So dirty, you didn't want to deal with it. So funky, you didn't want to get with it. But that's alright, no problem, cool. Sent to the earth to educate the fool. Waiting around for my shell to crack. After that, they can't hold me back. Looking out for the danger signs. Jungle brothers waiting for the change in time. Left, right, up, and from which angle? Straight up the middle, reality the real. Sending a message to the old and young. Confused about where I come from. What planet, what channel, what station? Africa from the Zulu nation. Confused, don't land and no understanding, but I knew not to give what life was demanding. Found a new tab, thought I'd take a grab. Tired of brothers who fiend the backstab. Beating the bigger drum, better days will come, and if they don't come, I get up and make some. First you crawl before you walk. First you think before you talk. I found in life that you wear a hard hat. Protect your mind and bad things will stay back. Don't just block in around on corners. Snakes slide through a law and order. Get slept away and I get older. Hit the ground and it gets colder. Harder comes faster so I get bolder. I ask my brother to take over my bellow up the sound.
Okay, that was the Jungle Brothers with Beyond This World, another major movement in hip hop, which was a Native Tongues movement. As you can see, we started in the past. We started off in the avant-garde jazz era, came through the free jazz era through the Caribbean, and now we're back in America. We're dealing with hip hop, but we're going to keep going. And the next song I'm going to play is leap forward about a decade and a half, and we're going to go to West London with the broken beat movement. This is probably one of the more forward-thinking and avant-garde movements in terms of it was multicultural in a true sense, without necessarily pandering to the quote-unquote white gaze. Started in West London by the children of African and Caribbean immigrants who really took a creative approach to drum programming with a lot of influences from jazz artists like the Roy Ayers, George Duke, artists like that. And they really created their own sound out of it. So it may sound unusual for people who've never heard it before, but nevertheless, it's still a very powerful instance of the kind of movement that we would associate, music that we would associate with this ideology. And also it's perfect because there are references, because so many of the artists were themselves the children of immigrants. They were second generation Europeans. They reached back to the places they came from in the Caribbean or Africa for sounds and textures. So the name of this cut is called, hold on for 1 second. The name of this cut is called Get It Right by the artist Black by Birth. This was a 12-inch that came out in 2005, and producer IG Culture is the founder, the seminal artist in the broken beat movement. So give it a listen, and let's just hear what it sounds like.
think twice. This is my life. I know what's right for me. Gotta keep on going till you get it right. Gotta keep on going till you get it right. Gotta keep on going till you get it right. Gotta keep on going till you get it right.
Okay. So the next cut that cut was again "Get It Right" by Black by Birth, out of West London. Shout out to IG Culture. The next song is by we're back in the U.S. by the way, and as you can see, we're continuing to move into the 21st century. The next song is by Iman Omari, a very prolific producer. And I believe he's from Louisiana, but he works out of Los Angeles at this time. And he's very well known for his work with the hip hop group Overdose, but he's also had a really interesting solo career. Anyway, his music is very much in the same vein. And you can see the threads of, or the themes that were visited by people like Max Roach and Sun Ra and Pharoah Sanders and George Clinton, and a lot of the music being centered around freedom. So Iman is another disciple or student of that sound, and he has released an album recently in 2017 called Ihi. Ihi was the Egyptian god of music. He was known to be the son of Horus, I believe, and he was also known for playing. He played basically the music of the gods. So the name of this song that I'm going to play is called Heaven, and it's off of the Ihi album, and it's really it's a longer song, but I think it's worthwhile to listen to the whole thing, not only because it's a beautiful song, but because of the messaging in it. And it starts off, like a lot of songs that are soul-based, where freedom is a theme. Of course, love is a theme, but it's very much centered around Blackness. So I'm going to play the song and let you hear what I'm talking about.
Inspirational. When was it last that you took the time to free yourself, tend to your mind? There is no need to bother with time. Worries at ease, all those divine. Just look within, I bet you can see all that you are, all you could be. I'll give you love, love is my goal. Got to be real, reaping what you sow. Reaping what you sow. Never might be with you. Never might be with you. If you just let go, let go, let go. You can touch it. You can touch it. If you just let go, let go, let go. Our future is here. Love has never lived. Be open now. We're always here. Placing your hand and putting yours. Is all the hope to take us far. Most precious gift, you know you deserve it. All that I got, know what your worth is. I'll give you love. Love is my goal. I see you still. I have always known. I have always known. Just let go, let go, touch you can touch Put your trust in me, then in me less. Cover the ride. You need a second into yourself. See what I do. You'll be the real you. I can see clearly, see that you need me. All of the best ways, you make me feel safe. Heaven seems far away. Heaven ain't far away. Heaven seems far away. Heaven ain't far away. There is no time, there's only love. Free to explore all the things we could be. I have flown, I know you are all that I give you love. Love is my goal. I will let go. See it still. I've known that heaven is a concept. Never needed a reverend to process. Heavy feeling, we only revel in later. Parallel to the soul, floating in levitation. Rise, perpendicular formation. Rise, purest and wasted form. Form one from ones, running from all the ones that form none. And became whole, slide, all in all, free. Let's fall, the art of beliefs. Me, leaving in the power before us is called me and you. Don't all of us just want to be seen in truth? Most appealing when it's peeled away. Stripped down bare, revealing grace. Promise your heart is in the safest spot. You never know it when you're placing me up on the top. Heaven might be beneath you. Heaven might be beneath you. 100 million. And so I believe that education process must be a process of two steps: inspiration and information. So I seriously give information, but black people are people of rhythm and spirit. So I also give inspiration.
So that was Iman Omari. And we're coming up on our last song. The next song is by Scott Zylo, another artist out of the UK. We've had two UK-based artists. And this song is called Hold On, off of another recent album that came out in 2018. I want to say 1918. 2018. And the album is called Find Us When You Get There. The name of the song is 2018, and the title is called Hold On. And this actually has a full music video associated with it, so there's something interesting to watch while you listen to it.
Just wanna talk to you, baby. See all the things we do. Singing the
So that is the end of my talk. And so, yeah, thanks for joining me. I didn't think I was going to get through all the songs I wanted to talk about in the time we had allotted, but thankfully I did. a couple of things to note as you go through this. Just if you go back and you will notice a lot of similarities in the visual elements for the music videos and the album covers. A lot of abstract art. People. A lot of this music was made by people involved in groups. So there's a definite undercurrent of collectivism involved, and yeah, I think that pretty much covers it. I'll make this slide presentation with the embedded videos available to the organizers. If you want a copy of it, just let them know. And yeah, if you have any questions for me, hit me up at jahsounds at gmail.com. That's JAHSOUNDS. You can also find me on Instagram at Jahsonic DC. That's JAHSONIC DC, no spaces, on Instagram. And hopefully I'll hear from some of you soon. If not, I'll see you at the next post quarantine DJ gig. All right, thanks.